So yeah, so Kevin Rato was a Satanist. So Florida has a lot of that satanic and pedophile culture down there. I'm not lying. It's like it's there. When you do these research on people, like they be doing some weird stuff down there. That's why I call it ratchet ass Florida. So going back to Paul Miller, the brother, he clowned him, but I'm like the person to get a mirror and show the Frankenstein or the vampire and they run because they see their evil self. That's how I am. So when I talk about his background and how Romanian people are treated like, I'm using N-word, niggas in Europe, because they're darker and all the skin tone and darker hair. And same thing when it comes to this. That's how Europeans taught us colorism. Because if you were blonde hair, blue eyes, right? And that's what I see. The ones who remain be begging for money. They do it here too, in the United States. They call them just. But in Europe, you know why? Because of the colorism. See, you blonde hair, blue eye, Becky, okay, is a woman. You don't get the love. The man, the blonde hair, blue eye, like Brad Pitt. You don't hit me to your saying I saw one video. Yeah, you can get all the love. But you dark hair, dark eyes, you're in all the skin tone, you are treated like a nigga in Europe. And the same thing, I don't understand how this man, his daddy was treated like a nigga in Europe, because he don't look like European. His family from India, because no, that's when they came. They came out of the Asia part, the Indian part of Asia, and immigrated to European. And then those Europeans saw them, they were not white. They're not all that Caucasian. So they mix something else. What happened? Okay, that's what they did treat him. So this man's father coming. Then his mother is Mexican, and she's a mixture of Spaniard, indigenous, black, Afro Mexican. Her. So this idea because LULAC back in 1993, no, 19, excuse me, 1930, they begged the government to put Latinos as white. So that's why many of those Mexicans who are anti-black got that, because and people realized that they was afraid they didn't want to be the same situation as African American people. Like Rose Perez, she's Puerto Rican, but she was saying that a lot of Latinos they don't know they got black and don't want to recognize it, and don't just put the same position as black people. Because yes, because if the government knew back in 1920s and 30s these Hispanics had African blood, I mean, just Cuban, Puerto Rican, but including the Mexicans, they were being put on the back of the bus too. And so they were trying to emulate white racist behavior, and so they can kiss the white racist man's ass. But the white racist Anglo-Saxon Protestant didn't give a damn. They gave you a white characterization, but they knew they still treated you like a nigga. You had lynchings called Matanza. You had the gasoline bag. You called cross that border. You white. You wouldn't have no gasoline bags and border patrol by the Ku Klux Klan. I didn't know the Ku Klux Klan was found by the border patrol was found by the Ku Klux Klan. You get to take a gasoline bag or to get in the country. Okay? You wouldn't have Operation WICK, even though Eisenhower had black in him too, and Romani was a Klan as well. Okay? Back in 1954. See, that's one thing that I hate in school. They didn't teach us that. They mostly focus on black pain. And that's one thing I don't like about it in Black History Month. We focus on, you ain't gonna talk about those who fought the system. Like Johnny Depp. Yeah, Johnny Depp's part black. His eighth grandmother was a mulatto, Elizabeth something. She won her case against her master. See, no one, they didn't teach it in school. They told us all beat, mistreated, everybody was scared. No, some of our people fought back. On my big mama side, on her mother's side, my dad's maternal grandmother, on her mama's side, Hamilton Butler, my third grandfather, and they're all some white passing people. So I don't know if he was dark skinned, I don't know what color he was, because yeah, they put you as black sometimes here in Texas. Don't matter if you were mixed, but even they put you, they just play games with your racial identity. But when I saw cousins, Big Mama on that side, I said, "Who are these white women, black white people?" And they said they're not black. They're not white. They black. My dad told me that's Big Mama's cousins. See, so anyway, so him, and I know I have a light skinned Creole cousin on that side too. So on the Butler side. And I'm thinking I'm related to Pimp C. Okay, so could be because Ham Butler called him from Alabama, shot a white man's head off. Saw the New York Times. It's an article you talk about that back in the 1900s or 18 back in the days after slavery. All the butlers had to leave Polk County and come to Harris County or other counties because the Klan, whatever, was showed it. See, he shot a white man, and I'm assuming it was some nigga going back and forth mess, and my third grandfather didn't play that shit, and he shot him. So I don't know what shade he was. He was camel skin like me, or dark chocolate, or high yellow, bright, or compare. I don't know, because they never told me how he looked. But Big Mama's grandfather on her mama's side didn't play that. And then one thing they'll tell, and that's what I'm saying, they always focus on the black pain in black history, not the black excellence, not those who fought against the system and beat the system. The one thing they're not going to tell you about sisters that Ku Klux Klan back in 1980s. I read in the book. They ain't teaching in school. To focus on us to try to brainwash us to be victims. Now, that part of critical hit race theory argument, I do agree with that. Okay? One thing about learning my mixed ancestry, it taught me the stuff they teach in school is bullshit. Okay? So we right about the other because they don't talk about Hispanic going to history. Because there's some white Hispanic folks try to act like white supremacists who said were laughing at some of the things that people were watching them segregation movies. I said back in my school, yes they did. But when we show the gasoline bags, I bet they wouldn't be laughing. And Matanza, and Operation WICK, I bet you they would be laughing then. Oops. So this man in Trump, is he really in Florida? Do you want ICE to come visit your bitch ass, Paul Miller? Cause you don't look white. I'm just letting you know. I wish I had a mirror that said, dude, your olive skin tone, you mixed with something. I said, that dude ain't no white from him. He want to be white. They dude being anti other minorities and call somebody a nigga. I will call him all type of high yellow niggas across the border, talk about his Afro-Mexican ancestry, and how his mom's side. Thank you. And this is not white. And I'll talk about this daddy. Well, she like a nigga in Europe. You know how many people dark hair, olive skin tone, talk about how to get you in Europe? The Gypsy Kings, they from Spain. They said just shit like they're black folks in Spain. Yes, it sure was. I watched this documentary back in the 90s.